Hi there. Thanks for joining this JNUC session about a new feature we've added to Jamf Protect called Network Threat Prevention. My name's Lucas Kemperman. I'm Senior Manager of Program Management here at Jamf, and I'm one of the people of the Jamf team who've been working on delivering this feature to you. What we'll be doing today is, first of all, give you a little bit of background information about network threat prevention and what problems we're trying to help you solve here. After that, we'll jump into the actual interactive lab session where you yourself will be able to deploy, configure, and to use the tool and get insights out of the solution. Feel free to post questions at any point during this session in the chat, and I'll be there to try and answer them. So first of all, just a little bit of background information on Jamf Protect and the original features. The deployment of Apple Tech in business has grown rapidly over the past 5 years. So has the demand for solutions to easily and securely enable these platforms to be used within this new environment. Employees across the business have been demanding the right to not only use their preferred technology, an Apple at work, but also the same level of security, management, and usability as their counterparts on other platforms. And IT admins are in the middle there as the superheroes that are managing all of this complexity. They simplify the end user experience, and our purpose here at Jamf is to bring them enterprise secure solutions that are consumer simple and protect the privacy of their users. Jamf Protect was built with all of that in mind and provides capabilities to monitor compliance, to protect corporate data, and prevent both known and unknown malware, and make it easy to remediate any issues. What we've been seeing is that the threat landscape on macOS has been changing. Macs are becoming ever more prevalent within businesses, enterprises, healthcare, and also across the world. One stat that I wanted to highlight is that within the US, we've seen that 23% of enterprise devices now are Macs in 2020, according to the ID. Now, this is all happening as a result of a number of factors, including the fact that we're seeing more and more millennials not just joining, but also taking on more important roles within the workforce. The global shift from working in the office to working from home is also a factor here, as is the introduction of Apple's silicon chips. And just as Jamf has rapidly adopted the new Apple silicon architecture for our products, so did malware authors. Indeed, it didn't take long to see the first malware appear that had native support for universal binaries, a clear indicator that bad actors are paying attention to the developments and are seeing enough of a return on investment for continuing to adapt their attacks to significant platform changes such as these. So what we're seeing in this changing landscape is that there's also a need for prevention on multiple levels and to keep fighting all of the threats that we're seeing. First, on the left-hand side here, are the on-device threats, the more traditional type of threats that Jamf Protect was already perfectly suited to prevent. Now, this includes configuration-based vulnerabilities that can be monitored and eliminated thanks to our CIS-based insights, as well as known Mac malware that can be prevented and quarantined upon execution. Also, malicious activities and suspicious behaviors that can be tracked and automatically remediated. But then there's a whole other category, network threats, and that includes things such as known and zero-day phishing attacks, malicious network connections, and even risky and inappropriate website access, which does not necessarily sound like a security threat, can present risks when it comes to legal and regulatory compliance, as well as reputational damage for an organization. Network threat prevention has dramatically expanded Jamf Protect's ability to secure a Mac in the enterprise without compromising the end user experience, allowing you to prevent inbound threats from even reaching your endpoints. It can block phishing, malicious network communications, cryptojacking attacks, and other attack vectors. Secondly, the network threat prevention technology also gives you a very robust content filtering solution, allowing IT admins to fight against risky, inappropriate and illegal content access on corporate devices using our category-based filtering. Now with that, my aim here today is to guide you and demonstrate how you can quickly set up and get started with this new feature that is included in Jamf Protect and is available to all of our Jamf Protect customers, including those that have purchased it as part of their business or enterprise plan. So let's jump into our interactive labs environment where we'll start to deploy, configure, and learn how to get value out of network threat prevention. You can scan the QR code that you can see here on the screen, or you can simply follow the link that's also on the screen now to get started and get this set up. Network threat prevention is based on technology that Jamf acquired from the Wandera purchase last year. We at Jamf are working very hard to bring all of this together and integrate the products more closely. But for now, we'll be using an additional portal called Radar with its own username and password to access network threat prevention features. Now, all new Jamf Protect business and enterprise customers since July automatically received a Radar login. For customers that have been using Jamf Protect for longer, you should have received an invite from customer success in the past few weeks. Now, for this demo, we're going to assume that you did not have time to act on that invite back then. So let's go to the radar.jamf.com portal and click on that reset forgot your password link. And let's request a password reset email. Now, once you've done that, you should receive an email from Jamf in just a few minutes. And in that email, you'll find a reset button. So let's click on that once we receive that. Once you've clicked on that button, you'll be able to set a new password. So this will be a different password, or can be a different password from your normal Jamf Protect or Jamf Pro login details. Once you've chosen that, let's click on the Change Password button and then click on Back to Sign In. And then log in with our new Jamf Protect credentials. So once you've entered that, click on the login button and you'll log into the Radar portal. Now the first thing we'll do is deployment. So let's click on deployment on the left-hand side and then click on activation profiles and select the default activation profile that we've already created. Here, scroll down and you'll see that we're already on Jamf Pro as MDM, which is the one we want to be on. And let's select macOS devices and download the configuration profile here. And we'll just use that later once we switch to Jamf Pro. Before we do that, however, we also want to set up UEM Connect. UEM Connect is a feature that allows us to sync information between Jamf Pro and Radar. So let's click on integrations and then UEM Connect on the left-hand side and select Jamf Pro as our UEM. Here you want to enter the information relating to your Jamf Pro account. So you'll be entering the URL first of all, as well as a username and password of an administrator with admin permissions. And that will allow us to sync information between the two systems. That means that you'll also not have to log into Radar to manage your users. Everything can be done from Jamf Pro and the information is just automatically synced back and forth between the two systems. Once you've done that and you've clicked on the test and save button, you'll see a confirmation saying this has been successfully connected. And let's just click save. And that's it. That's the integration all set up. So at this point, let's switch to the Jamf Pro portal. This will probably look a lot more familiar to most of you. Let's log into Jamf Pro. And what we'll be doing here is we'll be uploading that configuration profile that we just downloaded out of Radar. So once we are in, Let's click on computers on the left-hand side. And then let's select configuration profiles. And then click on the upload button. Once we're there, we'll choose files and we'll pick the file that we just downloaded out of Radar and click on upload. Now in here, there are no settings or options that need to be configured. Everything is already there. Everything's pre-configured. The only thing you'll need to do is go to the Scope tab and actually choose what devices to deploy this to. What we recommend is that you always start with just 1 or 2 test devices just to make sure everything works before you deploy it to your whole fleet. So in this case, I'm just going to select my old test laptop and click Save to scope that out and deploy it to that device. And that's all that needs to be done in Jamf Pro. So at this point, the device will receive the configuration and there's nothing that the end user needs to do. It's going to be completely seamless for them. So now that that's all configured in Jamf Pro, let's switch back to Radar. And let's just refresh this page here. And what we'll see is that we now have one device syncing across our test device. So that information is just coming through and that device has been deployed successfully into Radar. Now let's click on Devices on the left-hand side and click on Manage. And then you'll see here in the default group, one device. And you can see my MacBook Air here as well. We'll see a green tick next to Network, which means that information is being sent via the Jamf Security Cloud, and one next to UEM as well, indicating information is syncing from Jamf Pro. So that's great. That's the deployment section completely done. Next up, we're going to actually configure some policy, starting with a block policy. So here, there are millions of domains within these categories. We're just going to block 3 of the most common blocked categories here: gambling, adult, and illegal. So that means all websites that are categorized in any of those domains will be blocked for all our users. And let's just click Save and Apply. Now on top of that, I'm just going to configure a custom rule as well. In this case, I'm going to block wikipedia.org just to have one more site that we can test and make sure that all of our blocking functionality is working successfully. Then let's click Save and Apply. Now you can get a lot more granular here. You can create different policies for different groups, for example. We're not going to go into that now. Let's just start with a simple basic policy. And then also go and let's have a look at our security policy. So click Security and then Threat Response on the left-hand side. And let's click on Laptop to only see those threats that are relevant for our laptop devices. Here under Malware, I'm just going to enable the notifications. You'll see that all threats are already being blocked and detected. We're just going to enable end user and admin notifications as well. And now at this point, let's actually have a look on the test device. So here, what we're looking at is my test device. I'm going to go to the network preferences. And what I'll see here is a new profile that's been sent completely seamlessly to the device called DNS settings. And it's constantly running on the device. And that means that this device is definitely successfully deployed. Now let's actually run a test. Let's open up Safari. And first of all, I'm just going to make sure that things are working as they should. I'm just going to browse to jamf.com first of all, and just to make sure that the internet's working. That's all looking good. Next up, let's try a different tab and let's try google.com and let's make sure that everything is working there as well. And now let's actually try and access one of the sites that should be blocked now. So let's go to gambling.com, for example, which is a website that falls under the gambling category that we've blocked. And you'll see this site blocked page show up, notifying the user that this is a website that they can't go to on their corporate device. Same thing if I go to wikipedia.org, the custom site that we also added just as a test, so you'll see that that is blocked as well. Now, this technology doesn't just work in Safari, so I'm also just going to open up Firefox and run the same test there, just to make sure everything works. It does works in all browsers as well as other apps, so it's really blocked on the network level and not on the app level, providing good security across the board. So here as well, if I go to google.com, you'll see that that page also loads as it should. And now let's try and go to gambling.com here, and we'll see the site blocked page again, indicating that the traffic is being blocked as part of my content filtering policy. So at this point, let's switch back to Radar and let's have a look at the actual reporting. So this is where we can actually see what's been going on. And if I click on Reports, Internet, and then Usage, I'll be able to see my test device here, and I can actually have a look at all of the transactions that have gone from this device, as well as filter by block transactions to see those sites that have been blocked on this device. So all of this happens in real time. This is constantly updated. And you'll also be able to export any of this information for further analysis, should you wish to. Next up, we can go to sites and apps as well. Similar story here. Here we can actually see all of those specific sites and apps that have been visited by my users, in this case, just the test users. And again, I can dig into that. I can click on the plus icon to expand any of this and see the sites that have been visited by my users. Now, it's important to also note that we have a number of privacy options available. We are able to anonymize or pseudonymize this information should you wish to. More information on that can be found in our documentation center. Now, lastly, let's have a quick look at the security reporting as well. Let's click on Security and then Device View. And here you'll see my Mac, and you'll see that it shows up as completely secured. Let's just click on the desktop dashboard as well. And here you'll also see that an overview of everything that's going on within my estate, and also an option to go to the documentation again to find out more about all of the advanced options that we're not covering in this interactive labs. So that's it. That was just a quick introduction to help you get started with this new functionality. I hope that was useful. There's a lot more to explore and a lot more information and collateral that you can review yourself, or you can get in touch with any of us in case you need any help. Our customer success team are there to help you with any questions and with deployment should you need any help. So thanks very much for going through this interactive lab session with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to answering any of your questions. And thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your JNUC.